much about Connecticut's Freedom Trail? Do you know what types of landmarks are on it? We're going to tell you about its historical significance to our state. My guests today are Tammy Denise, Connecticut Freedom Trail Director of Outreach, Todd Levine, architectural historian, and Charles Warner, President of Connecticut Freedom Trail and a member of the Amistad Committee. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
All right, Tammy, you get to start things off. What is the Freedom Trail and where are the landmarks in our state?
Well, the Connecticut Freedom Trail is all over the state of Connecticut. From top to bottom, side to side, you can enter the Connecticut Freedom Trail. It was established in August of 1995 by law, General Assembly, by Al Marder and then Senator Tony Hart. It opened a year later, September 1996, in 60 towns with 30 sites, and now we are up to 70 towns with upwards of 170 sites all over the
So you're
state.
Constantly adding.
Yes,
that's
constantly
terrific.
adding, yes.
All right, Todd, as an architectural historian, what does this mean for architecture? What is on this trail that is so significant?
So what makes the architecture connect directly to the Freedom Trail is that these are places that are more than just a history in the books. They're places that you can visit, that you can touch, that you can experience.
Go indoors even and look around.
Absolutely, and it's all five senses. It's not just, seeing, it's experiencing. You can hear, the creaking of the stairs from an 18th century building, or, smell the dirt in the historic barn where that was part of the Connecticut Freedom Trail. So all these sites have that connection that really brings you back in time through its architecture.
Charles, how significant is this to the Black community? First of all, it hasn't been around that long that we're marking these sites.
Well, I would say it's extremely significant to the African American community, but at large, Connecticut citizens. Certainly these stories represent stories of slavery and abolition and the contributions of African Americans.
Give me one story that you find very important.
I would say certainly maybe the monument for the colored 29th Infantry Unit out of obviously a Civil War unit out of New Haven at Grapevine Point, now Criscola Park. Really tells the story of African Americans' effort to be involved with, one, the Union of the United States, and two, actively fighting for their freedom. This is the story of people who was really holding America to be the best version of itself, the way that they described themselves to the nation, land of the free and home of the brave. And so here many young people, grown men, teenagers gathered actually under the voice of Frederick Douglass to muster themselves to fight for freedom during the Civil War.
Beautifully said. Favorite landmarks so far, Tammy, on this trail?
Oh my goodness, there's too many.
You gotta pick one.
I gotta pick one. Oh, wow.
While we're waiting, Todd, what's your first?
I'm going to give you a group of them, and it's going to be Farmington. So Farmington, Connecticut was Grand Central Station for the Underground Railroad. So, if you see our logo, there's a lantern, then there's a big star. That's the North Star. So, everybody who is, formerly enslaved, making their way to freedom, they're following that North Star, which at that time was Canada, right? They're trying to make their way to Canada where there's no slavery laws. But Grand Central Station was
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Because we're working on time.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Well, anyway, so the beauty of it is that's where people would go, and then from there they would spread out to the rest of the state.
All right.
From Farmington.
Now, Tammy, I know you have your favorite.
I do. It is the Ruby and Calvin Fletcher African American history.
All right, well, we cut her off short just a
we had
little
a
bit.
technical problem there.
Yeah, so let me just tell you that this organization wants to get a site in every 169 towns in our state, and they're getting it done. And if you think that there's a site in your town, borough, what have you, that needs to be investigated, give them a call, go on their website, they'll come out, investigate, and that may go up on the Freedom Trail. And Connecticut is actually blazing a trail in this. We're a state that really gets it, and we're going to town on it.
So much great history in the state.
So much.
It's awesome. All right, we'll take a short break. Be back with more here in just a minute.